Hi everyone, my name is Elaine, and today I'm going to be ranking Unison League's most annoying status ailments. Status ailments are negative status effects that adversely affect the afflicted target. Their effects can be stacked, and more than one status ailment can affect the same target at a time. They are inflicted by either a monster or a player's ability. Status ailments are removed following the end of a battle, quest, or other event, and can be removed during a battle, quest, or event by various cleric healing abilities, such as Cure and Area Recovery. Now let's jump right into it with number 10. Number 10 is Stun. Stunned targets cannot use the ability they intend to while the status ailment is in effect. In the case of a targeted player character, this would mean that the next ability the player tapped while the status ailment is in effect will be cancelled. No cost is consumed when making the attempt. This status ailment disappears if you use a single ability. As a result, I use a basic attack or an attack replacement ability, which is usually the worst ability in my set, to bypass it, which is super easy, barely an inconvenience. Number 9. Despair. Targets affected by Despair will have their Unison Gauge decreased as opposed to increase whenever Unison Gauge boosting abilities such as Cheer are used upon them. I put Despair at number 9 because it only comes into effect when you try to raise your Unison Gauge while affected. It isn't something that is always going to screw you up. Furthermore, if it does, in PvE, it usually isn't too bad since monsters aren't used in a good number of quests, especially lower tier ones. In guild battle, this ability can be detrimental if your guild depends on Cheer strat or something similar, but since this can be cleared by several cleric healing abilities and countered by things such as haste and spamming abilities, I don't really see it as being much of an issue. Number 8. Prohibit Unison. This one is pretty self-explanatory since it's precisely what it sounds like. This status ailment prevents the target from participating in a unison battle. I don't feel as though this one is as bad as some of the others on this list because you often don't need to use monsters in PvE, and you can always snipe someone in PvP or potentially have this status ailment cleared by a cleric so you can take part in your team's unison battle. 7. Paralysis. Paralysis is a status ailment that has a chance to cancel the actions a target tries to take during battle. This one isn't too bad because it only has a chance to affect you as opposed to having a constant effect like some of the other status ailments on this list. With that being said, it's frustrating to stand there like a derp during battle because of this ailment, and the associated animation can be a bit of an eyesore. 6. Poison. Each stack of the poison status ailment reduces a target's current HP by 5% every 5 seconds. The max stack is 8. This one is pretty straightforward. It reduces your health, making your character more vulnerable. As a result, it can be both dangerous and frustrating, especially when the stack is high, as it can cause an untimely death. Number 5. Bleed. Bleed is a status ailment similar to poison. It decreases a target's current HP in intervals. I dislike this status ailment for the same reasons as poison, but dislike it just a little bit more because no one makes me bleed my own blood, even if that someone is myself. 4. Miasma. Miasma is similar to both bleed and poison. It's a status ailment that decreases a target's current HP in intervals. It also reduces their status ailment resistance, a status debuff which is exactly as it sounds. It reduces a target's ability to resist status ailments. I find Miasma frustrating to face because it makes you vulnerable in 2 different ways. First, it whittles away at your HP, making you more susceptible to death. Second, it makes you more susceptible to status ailments, which can really wreak havoc on your character, especially if they have a wide array of effects, like a mixture of miasma and paralysis, for example, or similar effects that would just build off of one another, like miasma and bleed. Not today, thanks. Number 3 is Curse. Curse prevents most forms of healing from affecting the target. In other words, it makes it difficult to heal the target being affected by the status ailment. I find this one to be very frustrating both as a healer and a DPS player. In my experience, this status ailment comes into effect when the target is already in a weakened state, or when their HP has taken quite a hit. Since they require heals, the cleric has to get to work, but sometimes you don't have an ability with you that can clear the ailment and heal at the same time. Sometimes you have to waste a heal to clear it and then use another heal on the affected target in order to actually heal them, which is annoying because it wastes both time and precious cost. As the affected player, it's annoying because it leaves you in a more vulnerable state and can really make you sweat a little, especially if you're on a harder quest. Number 2. Psychological Contamination. Targets affected by the status ailment will be incapable of using 1, 2, or 3 of their abilities for a set period of time. This is determined at random. Reapplying psychological contamination to the target will extend the duration of their blocked abilities, which are marked with a clear indicator. This status ailment drives me nuts because it always seems to affect my most useful abilities. The ones that do the most damage are the ones that can clear it away when I'm playing as a cleric. It also seems to affect 2 or 3 abilities the most often, which is really tough when you only have 5 to work with. And at the top of my list, in the number 1 spot, is Confusion. Confusion has the chance to cancel the actions a target takes during battle by forcing them to heal the opponent they had targeted, or hurt themselves or one of their teammates. Although it only has a chance to affect you, I cannot stand being forced to contend with the status ailment for several different reasons. First, you often wind up benefiting your enemy by healing them or their crystal, which is never a good thing when you wake up in the morning and choose violence. Second, you can wind up hurting one of your teammates, which is also never a good thing, especially when you're a cleric and you're supposed to be helping to keep them alive as opposed to wounding them. At least you're often not doing that much damage to your squishy buddies in that scenario. Finally, there's a chance you'll hurt yourself, and as you know, I don't like being made to bleed my own blood, and I don't like when my character is more vulnerable than they need to be to an untimely demise. And there you have it, my ranking of Unison League's top 10 most annoying status ailments. What did you think of my list? Did I leave something out that should have made the cut? Did I put things out of order, or was my list on point? Let me know down below in the comments. I always like to know what you guys think. And if you like what you saw here today, please smash that like button until it's blue, subscribe, ring that bell so you'll know what's up, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye guys!